The text came in at 7:46 a.m. I was halfway through my second cup of coffee laptop open calendar, filling up with travel deadlines. At first glance, I thought it was a casual hello. Rachel had that habit, short messages, lowercase, no punctuation unless something was wrong. Hey, finalizing guest list. Had to make some tough calls. Hope you understand. Love you. I stared at it. My hand didn't move. The coffee in my mug was still hot, but my fingers had gone cold. Rachel Delaney, my younger sister by 4 years, serial over-apologizer, professional event planner, and the woman who once called me at 3 a.m., sobbing because her college boyfriend blocked her after finals, was telling me I didn't make the list. There was no name. No, Sam, I'm sorry. Just tough calls. I reread it. Then once more slower this time. I wasn't misreading. I wasn't invited to my own sister's wedding. The living room felt still in that specific way it gets when something shifts beneath the surface, quiet but not peaceful, like silence waiting to be broken. I picked up the phone and called our mother, Linda. She answered on the second ring, her voice immediately bright rehearsed. Hi, sweetheart. Everything okay? Did Rachel really just cut me from her wedding guest list? I asked, no preamble. There was a pause. Not long enough to be confusion, just long enough to be guilt. Oh, honey, she sighed. That voice. I knew that voice. She used it when she didn't want to explain something, when she wanted the conversation to end before it began. She had to make some tough choices. You know how it is, budgets, head counts, all that. Mom, she invited 146 people. I just saw the Instagram post this morning. The florist alone is doing an entire hanging installation. A beat of silence, then a forced chuckle. Well, you know your sister. She's got a vision. Maybe she just assumed. I mean, you've been so busy with work and your travel, I'm her sister. My voice came out quiet but sharper than I meant. I helped her move apartments twice. I covered her rent when she was between jobs. I edited her resume. I stayed up with her on FaceTime when she thought she had COVID and didn't want to be alone. Linda made a soft tisk, the kind reserved for toddlers throwing toys. Samantha, don't make this into something it's not. It's just one day. Just one day. I didn't answer right away. I looked across the room at the dusty invitation mock-up Rachel had left on my desk 3 months ago. Cream cardstock, copper font. I'd helped her tweak the wording for hours. Now there wouldn't be one for me. Something inside me didn't break. It just folded quietly, precisely like the final crease in a letter that would never be sent. I brought the phone back to my ear. You don't have to explain, Mom. It's clear. She sighed again, but I'd already hung up. No yelling. No argument. Just air. Then calmly, I opened my laptop. If I wasn't welcome at the wedding I helped build, I would not be spending that weekend in Oregon. I would be somewhere quieter, somewhere warmer. Somewhere that didn't confuse silence for peace. Rachel once called me her emotional fire department. I remembered the exact phrasing because she'd said it between hiccuping sobs, sitting on the floor of her college dorm room, mascara streaked down her face while I talked to her through a dying iPhone battery and a 5-hour time difference from Greece. You always show up, she'd whispered then, like it was a compliment. But sometimes showing up becomes a habit people expect you to never break. After Dad died, Rachel collapsed. For a full week she slept in my apartment. She didn't eat unless I made food, didn't speak unless I asked questions. Mom wasn't much help then. Linda did grief like she did everything tidy, efficient, and in a separate room. It was me who canceled the utilities. Me who sorted Dad's garage. Me who found the funeral program typos and stayed up the night before printing new ones. Rachel had cried through the entire service. Afterwards, she clung to me like I was oxygen. So, no, this wasn't about a wedding. It wasn't about paper invites or head count limits. This was about watching someone draw a neat little circle labeled family and realizing they'd used permanent marker and you weren't inside it. Last year, she lost her job in Austin. I wired her half her rent without blinking, said it was no big deal. When her boyfriend cheated, I let her crash at my place in Portland for 2 weeks and never asked for anything back. Not even the groceries she emptied or the laundry she left half-finished. And when she got engaged, shaky, nervous, terrified she'd mess it up, I was the one who listened to her spiral for hours. "You're the only person who doesn't make me feel like a burden," she'd told me. I never asked her to prove that. Maybe that was my mistake. Linda, of course, had her version of fairness. When Rachel forgot my birthday 3 years in a row, Mom would smile and say, "She's got a lot on her plate, sweetheart." When I skipped a family dinner because of a project deadline, she called me distant. When I paid for the Airbnb over Christmas so everyone could have space, she thanked Rachel for organizing it. It became routine. I handled things. Rachel reacted to things, and Mom kept score in a language I was never taught to read. I didn't think I needed credit, but I hadn't expected to be erased. I sat on my bed scrolling through Rachel's engagement photos again. There she was, grinning on the Oregon coast wind in her hair, fiancé's arms around her waist. I'd taken those photos. My lens, my weekend. There were 37 pictures in the set, not one mention of me in the caption. I don't remember getting angry, not the loud kind anyway. Just that same dull ache of stepping into a room you furnished only to find no one saved you a seat. That's when I opened a new browser tab and typed in Santorini solo travel packages. The screen glowed pale blue against my face. Tabs open like wounds, flight comparison sites, hotel listings, a currency converter still showing Greek euros. I didn't even remember opening them. It wasn't a revenge trip. I wasn't interested in proving anything. I just knew I wasn't going to sit in my apartment watching filtered reels of a wedding I was meant to be in, nodding politely when relatives told me, "Wish you could have been there." Rachel had wanted space. I would give her continence. The irony made me smirk. I'd spent weeks helping her research Santorini resorts for the honeymoon blue-domed villas, cliffside suites, the kind of trip you imagine for your best life. The booking link was still in my inbox. My name was still listed under optional contributor. I clicked the link. I booked it, but this time the suite had one guest. No +1. No champagne package for two. Just me, a king-sized bed, and the sound of waves that didn't ask questions. The confirmation email chimed in like a quiet applause. I stared at it for a long time, not smiling, not crying, just there, present. For the first time in a long while. Next came the flights. One way for now. Portland to Athens, then a connection to Thera. I picked a window seat. Always window. I wanted to watch the world shrink behind me. I packed in silence that night. One suitcase. Lightweight linen, 2 books I'd been meaning to read, a pair of sandals with the tag still on. No makeup bag. No dress for a reception I'd never attend. I paused at the jewelry drawer. Reached for the pearl earrings Dad had given me on my 21st birthday. I hadn't worn them in years, slipped them in the side pocket just in case. By morning, I was already halfway to the airport when Linda called. 3 times. No voicemail. I didn't answer. At the gate, I took a photo boarding pass, passport, coffee cup, nothing posed. Captioned it simply. "Turns out the best way to RSVP no is to leave the country." I hit post, turned off notifications, slipped the phone into airplane mode. Some departures don't need witnesses. The Aegean air met me like a welcome I didn't realize I needed. It smelled of salt, wild herbs, and heat baked into white stone. The driver held up a placard with my name. Just mine, no +1, and opened the back door of a sleek black SUV. Inside, chilled towels, bottled water, and silence. The ride from the airport traced the edge of the caldera, winding past houses stacked like seashells and blue domes that caught the sun like secrets. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. When we pulled up to the Hotel Villa Kyra perched above the cliffs, I almost forgot to breathe. The concierge greeted me with a citrus drink and a soft "Welcome, Ms. Delaney." No one asked where my fiancé was. No one looked for a missing name. The room was unreal, floor-to-ceiling windows opening onto a private terrace, a plunge pool that looked out over the sea. I dropped my bag, stepped outside barefoot, and stood there until the sun shifted. Later, I ordered room service grilled octopus lemon potatoes and a glass of local white wine. I took a photo of the view, just the sky turning apricot above the water, no filter. I nearly didn't post it. Then I typed, "One guest, one sunset, still complete." The likes came fast. An old friend from college. "Wait, are you in Greece?" My cousin Leo. Not you stealing your sister's honeymoon. And then Monica. Okay, this is iconic. Please don't come back. I smiled. Not big. Just enough. Then came the other notifications. Missed call, Mom. Text, Samantha. Are you seriously skipping your sister's wedding over this? You're being unfair. Rachel is hurt. We're all hurt. I didn't reply. I just muted the thread and closed the phone face down. Some people call to fix things. Others call because they're starting to realize they can't. I spent the rest of the evening floating in the pool, watching the stars blur overhead. My body felt weightless, but not just from the water. I hadn't known how heavy I'd been carrying the role of the steady one until I set it down. No one needed a decision from me. No one asked me to hold a hand or calm a panic. And for once, no one expected me to save the day. The moon rose in silence, and I let it. It started with a low buzz. I was midway through a late breakfast on the terrace Greek yogurt with figs a second espresso, a breeze brushing past my knees when my phone vibrated once, then again, then 5 times in a row. At first I ignored it, probably Instagram engagement, or Monica reacting to another post. But when the screen lit up with names I hadn't seen in weeks, Mom, Rachel, Cousin Leo, Uncle Rob, I paused. Missed calls, messages, a few from unknown numbers. I picked it up slowly, thumbing through the stack. Mom, call me now. It's important. Rachel, please, I need you. Leo, dude, you are not gonna believe this. Unknown number. Family emergency. Please respond. I didn't answer, but I opened Instagram. Rachel hadn't posted anything since last night, just a story from the rehearsal dinner. All candles and smiles. Nothing from the ceremony, nothing from the reception. And then Monica texted, "Call me. Now. I swear this is wild." I hesitated, then tapped her name. She picked up on the first ring, practically whispering, "You're not ready." I'm sitting in a terry cloth robe with a mimosa and a sea view. I said, "I can handle chaos." Okay. She sucked in a breath. The wedding blew up. Define blew up. The groom walked out, at the reception, in front of everyone. I blinked. Wait left, stormed out. Big argument with Rachel. Something about her being manipulative and this whole thing being for show. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Monica kept going, voice low but gleeful. Then your mom tried to play it off like nerves, but Aunt Liz wasn't having it. There was shouting. Uncle Rob stepped in. Grandma cried. The venue cut the bar an hour early. I leaned back into the chair. The sky above me was a soft, uninterrupted blue. I can't tell if I feel vindicated or nothing I said. "Oh, it gets better," Monica said. Grandma told Rachel loudly that if she hadn't disrespected her family, she wouldn't be alone in her wedding dress. I covered my mouth with my hand, half in shock, half trying not to laugh. She said, "You don't cut blood and expect no bleeding," word for word. God, I loved Grandma sometimes. Monica was still going. And then your mom tried calling the groom's family to smooth it over, and his mother basically said, "This is your mess now." A pause. Then I said simply, "Wow." "Yeah," Monica said. "Everyone's scrambling. Rachel's crying in the bridal suite. Your mom's calling everyone, and now they're trying to reach you. Why? Because you were always the one who cleaned up the messes." I looked at my phone. Still lighting up, still buzzing like I owed them something. I took a long sip of mimosa, watching a sailboat drift far out on the horizon. "I'm not coming back," I said. I figured Monica replied, and I could hear the smile in her voice. The next message came directly from Rachel. "I know you're mad. I get it. But I need you right now. Please call me. No punctuation. No, I'm sorry. Just need." Another buzz, Mom again. "You've made your point, but this is a crisis. Family pulls together in moments like this." That word again. Family. So often used like a rope to pull you back into a fire you didn't start. I stared at the screen thumb hovering. For years I had responded immediately. I'd picked up the pieces before they hit the floor. Talked people off emotional ledges, rewrote speeches, paid deposits. Smoothed over fights no one acknowledged later. And now when the tower crumbled, Suddenly, my absence was the most noticeable thing in the room. I thought about Rachel, her dress probably wrinkled from crying, makeup smudged, voice breaking as she said, "I need you." But she didn't need me last month, not when the invitations went out, not when she chose 6 bridesmaids and never asked me to stand beside her. Now she wanted my presence as cleanup crew, not as sister, not as family, just as utility. I didn't feel angry. Not anymore. I typed my reply to Rachel slowly. "Sorry, I'm a little busy enjoying my overreaction. Hope the wedding was fun." Then I blocked her number. I blocked Mom's too. And just in case, I blocked Uncle Rob, Cousin Leo, even Monica temporarily, because I knew how guilt spreads like static. One person tries to stay out of it, then gets roped in to convince you to be the bigger person. I set the phone down screen dark and let the silence stretch out. The sea outside didn't care about dresses or guest lists or burned bridges. It just kept moving steady quiet. And for once, I matched its rhythm. The next morning, the sky outside my balcony stretched wide and open, a shade of blue so calm it felt like a held breath. I wrapped the hotel robe tighter around me, holding my coffee cup with both hands. The air smelled like citrus and ocean. Not guilt, not urgency, just morning. My phone blinked again. Blocked numbers. Unknown numbers. A voicemail that slipped through. I didn't open any of them. Instead, I picked up my laptop, clicked through a few tabs, and extended my stay by 7 more days. No family meeting, no talking things out, no trip back to fix what I didn't break. They had made a decision. I was just honoring it. Rachel had uninvited me not out of accident but calculation. Mom had minimized the cut not out of confusion but convenience. If I returned now, it would be as a footnote in their story, a prop to show how graceful I could be. No, this wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was stillness. The stillness of knowing you were finally out of reach, of choosing not to re-enter a space where you were invisible. They would call it petty, cold, dramatic. Let them. Because this peace, it wasn't performative. It was earned. I sent Melissa one message. "Thanks for the heads up. I won't be back. They wanted me cut out. I'm just finishing the job." Her reply came quickly. "Sam, that's kind of iconic." Maybe, but I wasn't trying to make a statement anymore. I was just choosing silence where noise used to be. Later, as I lay under a shaded cabana, the wind lifting strands of my hair, I thought about something Rachel once told me when I cried at age 12 because she blew off my birthday. "Stop being so sensitive. You're not the center of the universe." She was right. I wasn't. But for once in this tiny corner of the world, this stretch of sun and salt and silence, I didn't have to be. I just had to be unbothered. That evening, the sun bled orange across the horizon, casting a molten shimmer across the waves. I stood barefoot at the edge of the beach, the tide curling over my feet and retreating like breath. In one hand, a glass of wine. In the other, my phone. I opened the photo app and scrolled, not to family pictures, not to memories, but to the snapshot I took on the flight down here. Legs stretched out, champagne in hand, that half smile. I posted it again, but this time no caption, no message, no performance, just the image. I didn't need to explain anymore. Not to Rachel, not to my mother, not to anyone who ever thought I could be removed and simply replaced. As I slipped the phone into the sand beside me, I watched the water pull away again, smooth, clean, indifferent. Somewhere back home, I imagined their voices still rising. "She needs to come back. She's being unreasonable. She doesn't care. They were right. I didn't. Not about what they thought. Not about how they'd rewrite the story. Because I'd finally walked out of the narrative they built without me. And all I left behind was a single, uncaptioned photo, posted at golden hour. No location tag, no return date, no apology. Only one visible detail, the initials monogrammed on the cloth napkin folded on my lap. SM. Not Sammy, not little sister, not just being difficult, just me. Fully present, but no longer available. I used to be the one cropped out of the picture, so I chose to rewrite the frame. If you've ever walked away in silence, just leave a single dot.